Welcome back to the channel, Coin Collectors and Treasure Hunters. Today, we are diving deep into some fascinating coins from the late 1970s and early 1980s, the Roosevelt Dimes of 1979, 1980p, 1981D, and 1982p. Now, you might think these small 10-cent coins are just ordinary pocket change, but wait until you hear about their rare varieties, minting history, and collector values. Stick around till the end, because one small error on these dimes could turn 10 cents into hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Let's go start video.
Before we get into the details of the 1979 dime itself, let's quickly review the history of the Roosevelt Dime series. The Roosevelt Dime was first issued in 1946, just 1 year after President Franklin D. Roosevelt passed away. It was created to honor him for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War, as well as his fight against polio. Designed by John R. Sinek, the dime replaced the mercury dime and has remained in circulation ever since. By 1979, the dime had already been around for more than 30 years, and it was being struck in a copper-nickel clad composition since the United States had stopped making 90% silver dimes in 1964. The 1979 dime, like other Roosevelt dimes, has the following features. Composition: 91.67% copper, 8.33% nickel, copper-nickel clad. Weight 2.27 grams. Diameter 17.9 millimeters. Edge reeded with 118 reeds. A portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left, with the word Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and the date 1979. A torch in the center representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. The words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and one dime appear around the design. The 1979 dime was struck at 3 U.S. mint facilities. Philadelphia, no mint mark. Millions were struck for circulation. Denver D mint mark also produced a huge mintage. San Francisco S mint mark produced proof coins for collectors. Mint marks can be found on the obverse, just above the date. This placement had started in 1968 and continued in 1979. The 1979 dime had very high mintages. Philadelphia, 568, 760, 000 plus coins. Denver, 390, 921, 000 plus coins. San Francisco, 3,677,175 proof coins. Because of these large mintages, most 1979 dimes are common in circulation. But, as you'll see, condition and varieties can make a huge difference in value. The most famous collectible aspect of the 1979 dime is the San Francisco proof coins. There are actually two different mint mark types for 1979 S proofs. Type 1 filled S. The S mint mark looks blob-like or filled. Type 2 clear S. The S mint mark is sharp and well-defined. The Type 2 is more desirable, and collectors often pay much higher prices for it, especially in deep cameo proof grades. Type 1 proof coins may be worth $5 to $15. Type 2 proof coins can range from $30 up to $100 or more, depending on grade. 1979 dimes also have some interesting error coins that can be worth serious money. Some of the most popular include: off-center strikes a dime missing part of the design, with blank space showing. Depending on the percentage off-center, these can sell for $50, $300. Broad strikes coins struck without the collar, appearing wider and flatter. Value ranges from $20 to $100 plus. Doubled dies coins showing doubling in the lettering, date, or motto. A strong doubled die can bring hundreds of dollars. Clipped planchets coins struck on planchets missing a piece. These can sell for $50 to $150. If you find one of these in your change, it's definitely worth holding on to. Now let's talk about value. In circulated condition, most 1979 dimes are only worth their face value of 10 cents. In uncirculated condition or higher, the value jumps. 1979 Philadelphia dime in can bring $200, $300. 1979 Denver dime in has sold for $400 to $500 at auction. Proof 1979 S Type 2 coins in perfect deep cameo can reach $1,000 or more. So while most of these coins are common, the highest grades and rare varieties are highly collectible. If you're collecting or searching for valuable 1979 dimes, here are some tips. Always check the mint mark, especially on proof coins, to see if it's a Type 1 or look closely under magnification for doubled dies or other errors. Preserve high-grade coins in protective holders because scratches can greatly reduce value. If you suspect you have a valuable error or high-grade coin, consider getting it graded by or NGC to maximize its value. 1 dime 1980p. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, right after President Franklin D. Roosevelt's death. He was honored not only for his leadership through the Great Depression and World War but also for his connection to the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio. By 1980, the dime had been in circulation for over 3 decades, and it was made of the modern copper-nickel-clad composition that began in 1965. But the 1980 P dime became special because it was the first year Philadelphia used the P mint mark on circulating dimes. Before 1980, Philadelphia coins usually had no mint mark at all. So, if you see a 1980 dime with a small P above the date, you're holding a little piece of U.S. mint history. Let's take a close look at the coin itself. Composition: 91.67% copper, 8.33% nickel. Weight 2.27 grams. Diameter 17.9 millimeters. Edge reeded with 118 reeds. Portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left. Above is the word Liberty, with IN. God We Trust below the portrait, the date 1980 to the right, and the mint mark P just above the year. A torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, with an olive branch on the left for peace, and an oak branch on the right for strength. The motto E Pluribus Unum appears above, and United States of America and 1 dime encircle the design. The 1980 dime was struck at 3 different U.S. mint locations. Philadelphia P. This was the historic first year the Philadelphia Mint added a P mint mark to the dime. The mintage was massive 735, 170, 000 plus coins. Denver D produced over 735 million coins as well. San Francisco S struck around 3.5 million proof coins for collectors. The Philadelphia issue, the 1980 P dime, is the most significant because of its first ever mint mark. Despite the huge number produced, it remains highly collectible in high grades. Why is this dime important? Because until 1980, the Philadelphia Mint didn't mark its coins with a mint mark, except for a brief time on the wartime nickels. During the 1940s, collectors had often asked for a way to easily identify Philadelphia coins, and finally, in 1980, the mint began adding a P mint mark on the dime. This tradition has continued ever since, making the 1980 P dime is a true milestone in the U.S. coinage history. The San Francisco Mint struck special proof coins for collectors in 1980. These proof dimes carry an S mint mark and were sold directly in proof sets. Proof coins are easily recognizable because of their mirror-like fields and frosted devices. A typical 1980 S proof is worth around $3 to $5. But in perfect condition, with deep cameo contrast, they can sell for $50 to $100 or more. Now, let's get to the exciting part, the errors and varieties. These are the coins that collectors dream of finding, because they can turn pocket change into real money. Some known errors for the 1980 P dime include off-center strikes, coins struck with the design partially missing, worth $50 to $300, depending on how far off-center. Broad strikes, coins that look stretched out because the retaining collar wasn't used. These often sell for $20 to $100. Clipped planchets, coins missing a curved section, caused by misfeeding during production. Value ranges from $50 to $150. Doubled die varieties. Some examples of 1980 P dimes show doubling in the lettering, especially in Liberty or IN God We Trust. These are rare and can sell for $100, $500, depending on the strength of the doubling. Die breaks and cuds, raised blobs or missing parts of the design from die damage. Collectors love these, and they can bring $25 to $200 plus. Always check your 1980 dimes carefully with a magnifying glass. You never know what you might spot. Let's talk about how much these coins are worth in today's market. Circulated condition. Most 1980 P dimes found in pocket change are only worth their face value of 10 cents. Uncirculated condition, in grades like, they typically sell for $5 to $15. High grades and above, this is where values jump dramatically. An 1980 P dime can sell for $200 to $400, and which is extremely rare, has sold for over $1,000 at auction. So, while most of these coins are common, a pristine example could be very valuable. If you're collecting 1980 P dimes or Searching through rolls, here are some key tips. Always check for sharp strikes and luster, since higher grades are much more valuable. Keep an eye out for errors and doubled dies. They can turn a 10-cent coin into a serious collectible. Store uncirculated coins in protective holders or flips to avoid scratches. If you think you have a rare variety or a very high-grade coin, consider professional grading from or NGC to maximize its value. The 1980 P dime is historically important as the first circulating U.S. dime to carry the Philadelphia P mint mark. Most are common but high-grade examples, and error coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Proof coins from San Francisco are also collectible, especially in deep cameo condition. Next, one dime 1981 D. The Roosevelt Dime series began in 1946, after President Franklin D. Roosevelt's death. The U.S. Mint honored him because of his strong leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and also for his connection to the March of Dimes program that helped fight polio. Designed by John R. Sinek, the Roosevelt Dime replaced the Mercury dime. Since 1946, it has remained in circulation with only small design changes. By 1981, the dime had already been struck for 35 years, and like all modern issues since 1965, the 1981 D dime was made from a copper-nickel-clad composition rather than silver. The 1981 D Roosevelt dime has the standard features of the series. Composition: 91.67% copper, 8.33% nickel-clad. Weight 2.27 grams. Diameter 17.9 millimeters. Edge reeded with 118 tiny ridges. Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left, with the word Liberty to the left, In God We Trust below his chin, the date 1981 on the right, and the mint mark D above the date, showing it was struck in Denver. The famous torch in the center symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. Around the design are United States of America, E pluribus unum, and one dime. In 1981, the dime was produced at 3 mints. Philadelphia P mint mark struck over 676 million coins. Denver D mint mark struck around 667,231,000 coins. San Francisco S mint mark produced about 4 million proof coins for collectors. The 1981 D dime was part of this huge production, meaning it's common in circulation. But condition and errors can make certain coins worth much more. While 1981 may seem like an ordinary year, it marked the end of an era in some ways. It was the last full year before the 1982 No P dime era shocked collectors. It was also a period when the mint was improving its production technology, but still making occasional mistakes that created collectible errors. That's why 1981 D dimes can still be exciting finds for collectors today. Although the Denver Mint struck only business strike dimes for circulation, collectors could also purchase proof sets from the San Francisco Mint. These proof coins are easily identified by their sharp details and mirror-like Surfaces. While the 1981 ED was not issued as a proof, pairing it with its proof counterpart from San Francisco makes for a great set. Now let's talk about the most exciting part for many collectors: errors and varieties. The 1981 ED dime is known to exist with several valuable errors. Doubled die obverse DDO, look for doubling on Liberty, Indiana, God we trust. Or the date strong doubled dies can sell for $100 to $500 depending on grade. Off-center strikes, coins struck noticeably off-center with part of the design missing, can bring $50 to $300 depending on how far off-center. Broad strikes, coins without a proper rim appearing wider and flat, these typically sell for $20 to $100 plus. Clipped planchets, a curved clip missing from the coin's edge, worth $50 to $150. Die breaks and cuts, raised blobs or missing sections of the design caused by a cracked die, often collected for $25 to $200 plus. Collectors are especially interested in well-preserved error examples from this year. Let's look at the values. Circulated condition, most 1981 ED dimes in your change are worth only 10 cents. Uncirculated condition, worth around $3. $10. High-grade examples. Graded coins can fetch $200, $400. Extremely rare coins have been sold for over $1,000 at auction. Error coins, depending on the type and severity, error dimes can range from $50 up to several $100s. So while the average coin is common, collectors chase those few pristine or unusual examples. Here are some tips if you want to collect 1981 ED dimes. Roll searching, check bank rolls of dimes. You might find a gem uncirculated coin or an error. Look for doubling, always use a magnifying glass to spot doubled dies. Preserve condition, high-grade coins are scarce, so keep the best ones in protective holders. Professional grading, if you suspect you have a rare variety or top-grade coin, submit it to or NGC for grading. Compare values, check auction results regularly to see which varieties and grades are hot in the market. The 1981 ED Roosevelt Dime is a common coin in circulation, but in high grades it can be worth hundreds of dollars. Error coins, especially doubled dies and off-center strikes, are highly collectible. This coin is also historically interesting because it was struck right before the famous 1982 No P dime, error 1 dime. 1982 P. The Roosevelt Dime was first issued in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt. After his passing, he was chosen not only for his leadership during tough times, but also because of his support of the March of Dimes campaign against polio. Designed by John R. Sinek, the Roosevelt Dime replaced the Mercury dime and has remained in production ever since. By 1982, the dime had already been circulating for over 35 years, but this year became one of the most important dates in the entire series. The 1982 dime follows the standard specifications of the series. Composition: copper nickel clad 91.67%. Copper 8.33%, nickel Weight 2.27 grams. Diameter 17.9 millimeters. Edge reeded with 118 reeds. Franklin D. Roosevelt facing left. The word liberty on the left, in God we trust below, the year 1982 on the right. And normally the mint mark P just above the date. A torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, with an olive branch for peace on the left, and an oak branch for strength on the right. Surrounding the design are United States of America, E. Pluribus Unum, and 1 dime. In 1982, the Roosevelt Dime was struck at 3 U.S. mints. Philadelphia P struck over 519 million coins. Denver D produced about 480 million coins. San Francisco S made roughly 3.8 million proof coins for collectors. The Philadelphia issue is the one that gained worldwide fame because of the missing mint mark error. Here's where things get exciting. In 1980, the U.S. Mint started adding the letter P to dimes from Philadelphia. So by 1982, every Philadelphia dime should have had a P mint mark above the date. But in 1982, some dies were accidentally prepared without the mint mark, creating the now legendary 1982 No P dime. These coins were released into circulation, and at first, nobody noticed. Collectors began to discover them in late 1982 and early 1983, causing huge excitement. This was the first major U.S. coin error involving a missing mint mark in modern times. The 1982 No P dime remains one of the most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever released into circulation. The San Francisco Mint also made proof coins in 1982. These coins carry an S mint mark and were only sold to collectors in proof sets. Most 1982 S proof dimes are common, but in deep cameo or condition, they can sell for $50 to $200. While the proofs are collectible, the real excitement comes from the Philadelphia circulation strikes with the missing mint mark. Aside from the famous No P dime, there are other collectible varieties and errors. From 1982, off-center strikes coins struck misaligned, missing part of the design, often worth $50 to $3,000. Broad strikes coins without a proper rim, appearing stretched, worth $20 to $100. Clipped planchets, a curved section of the coin missing, caused by a miscut. Blank, worth $50 to $150. Doubled dies, some 1982 dimes show doubling in the motto or date, worth $100 to $500. Die breaks and cuds, raised blobs or missing details from a cracked die, collectible for $25 to $200. But of course, the king of 1982 dime errors is still the No P mint mark variety. Now let's talk about value. Regular 1982 P dime. In circulation, face value 10 cents. In uncirculated, $3 to $10. In $50 to $100. Examples can reach $500 to $1,000. At auction. 1982 No P dime missing mint mark. In circulated grades, $50 to $200. In $300 to $600. In $1,000 to $2,000 or more. The finest examples, graded, have sold for over $3,000 at auction. That's an incredible price jump for a dime. that people once ignored in pocket change. Always check for the mint mark. If it's missing, you might have the famous no P variety. Use magnification to look for doubled dies or small errors. Preserve condition. High-grade coins are worth much more than worn examples. Roll hunting. Searching bank rolls of dimes is still one of the best ways to find hidden gems. Grading. If you believe you have a no P dime or a high-grade example, get it certified by PCGS or NGC to maximize its value. The 1982 P dime was struck in huge numbers, but it's famous for the no P mint mark error. Regular dimes are common, but in top grades, they can still bring solid collector value. The 1982 no P dime is one of the most valuable modern coin errors, worth thousands in the best condition. Always check your change. You never know when a rare 1982 no P might show up. So the next time you see a tiny dime from the late 70s or early 80s, remember it could be worth a fortune. Which of these coins do you have in your collection? Drop a comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because I've got more rare coin videos coming your way. Thanks for watching video.